Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Talks with My Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nick, my dude. Today, I have a special guest, Ranch Smoothie. How you doing, Ranch?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on. Do you prefer Ranch or Rancher?
Rancher is my government name, so Ranch is fine.
All right, we'll go with Ranch. So, how you doing, Ranch? How you been lately?
Oh, I've been existing. Starting up the streaming life. So I've just kind of been doing that a lot around outside life stuff.
Yeah, I think balancing streaming and anything outside life is annoying. I didn't realize how much trying to stream consistently was going to impact my other hobbies.
Right? Yeah, like it is. It was something like when you're just watching streamers, right? You're like, oh, they're playing video games all day, but there's actually a lot of stuff that goes on like behind the scenes, and I've only scratched the surface of it. Like I have a huge appreciation for it after watching John and some of the other people like kind of their climb into being streamers. Uh, but yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so I only stream like roughly 2 days a week. I'm kind of sometimes I want to do more, but I just don't want to lose my hobbies. But
Sure, yeah.
even those 2 hours, 2 times a week, I'm like running out of time to like build my Gundams and do my other things or play games that I would maybe not want to stream. It's a weird problem.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I mean, fortunately for me, most of my hobbies are on the computer anyways. So, I mean, or gaming. I used to play a lot of sports, but the sports I play are team sports, so they were, it's hard to get 22 dudes together to play soccer. Um, so like I turned to video games in the older years, so to speak. Um, so for me, I like at least it's been kind of fortunate in that sense. But like trying to my recent struggles with Twitch alerts. Like I'm trying to get it so that they have sort of custom animations for them, custom images and sounds and stuff, and like I can barely get them to show up half the time. So like I do a lot of work outside of the stream itself, also just trying to improve the stream quality. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I mean it shows. You set up your chat box recently. You've got the is it the BRB screen or at least your ending soon and starting soon has like a scrolling text box and all sorts of really cool stuff. And
yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
and
what
like,
people, sorry, I think
yeah, go
that's
ahead.
what people
No,
don't realize about streaming is even if you only stream like 4 hours a week or you try to stream only like casually, you still have like a couple hours a week of work outside of that just
mhm.
getting ready for that stream. Unless you're lazy like me, I just hit the button.
Yeah, well, and like, and that's the other thing too is like, I mean, I'm a big believer of you get what you put in kind of a thing. So you get out of it what you put into it kind of a thing. So like, there are people out there who just, and I'm not saying you're one of them necessarily, but just like they just like I'm playing video games, so I'm going to turn my camera on kind of a thing, right? But then you have other people who go that extra little step to add in, like a talking character. Like I actually would like to get a webcam at some point, just because I feel like it makes it more personal and kind of ups the production quality. But I want to get a better mic. I want to get all these things to improve the stream because I want my biggest issue is uh, I want people to feel like if they're gonna sub to me, their dollar needs to mean something. Uh, they have to be getting a good quality product for the dollar they spend, and I hate just like asking for money. I don't want to seem like I'm one of those guys out here with my hands out, just kind of hoping for people to pay my bills, kind of a thing. Um,
No, I think that makes
I don't
sense. It's understandable. You can definitely call me one of those more lazier streamers, but part of that is because I'm not still not sure how or the approach I want to take.
know.
The only thing that
Mm-hmm.
I've got consistently right now that I'm enjoying is making this podcast, and that's YouTube only. I would never want to do one of these live. That would be terrible.
You're right.
I don't think I would have any fun doing that. But but I mean,
I
like
like the
I'm working
podcast
on.
format.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm getting some art and stuff done soon ish. I think the artist is like she's working, or they're working really hard. Excuse me, they're working really hard on like job stuff and other art.
Mhm, mhm.
So that'll come eventually. But like once that starts, like I'm gonna replace. I'm gonna look a lot different. The VTuber model I'm using is gonna be different. It's gonna change. I'm gonna have like a personalized one because this is just one of
Nice.
those like you can use this and customize it and do whatever, but it's through a thing, so I don't officially own it. I want
Mm,
I want
mhm.
a design that I just like own.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that makes sense, right?
I mean I don't even have emotes yet. I have two emotes.
Yo,
I've been an
same.
affiliate for a year. I have two emotes.
I
So
have the generic like
the
little purple
yippee.
guy with the heart one that they give you.
Yeah.
And then I have just my I just was like, you know what? I need like a ranch hype or a ranch cheer kind of one. So I was like, I'll just take the freeze frame of my dude talking with his smoothie up in the air and I'll turn that into ranch hype or whatever. I don't remember what I called it, but
I mean it works,
so
you
I was like,
know.
yeah. Yeah, well, and like that's the thing
Works
too is
works
like
smarter, not harder. You know what I mean?
yeah, and things like that bring people in my opinion. It's another one of those like giving quality to the viewer, right? It gives them a way to interact with me more. And that's my big thing because like for me, my streaming always I wanted it to be basically just chatting with me playing a game in the background because just staring at my face I think is boring, right?
Exactly.
So if I have some sort of game going on while we talk about literally anything and everything under the sun, like that's what I want.
I'm gonna leave this stuff in, but looks like the strongest bracket for today got canceled. Unfortunately,
No
hope John's.
way.
Yeah, so it looks like something's up with John. Hopefully he's okay.
Oh no.
Hope
Oh
everything's
yeah, he
okay.
did. He just sent me a message about it. That's unfortunate.
Dang, that sucks. Well, I hope he's okay. I just hope everybody's okay. Content and
He's
stuff.
probably.
This is probably another like conversation topic. It's like content and stuff is always backseat to like your personal well being
Well,
and
yeah,
family and stuff. So I hope everything's okay.
yeah, and like for me, like when I think I mentioned it on stream a couple of days ago, but like I had woken up a couple weeks ago with like a when like you stare at a light by accident or whatever, you get that kind of like weird floaty like after image of it kind of burned into your eye.
No, I don't. I don't. I've never done that to myself, but
Oh, okay. Well, like
I
it,
can imagine what you're talking about.
yeah, it's I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like if you look at a light for a couple seconds and then you look away, you get kind of like it kind of floats around and it's colored. It's not good for your eyes. Don't do it. But I woke I woke up with that in my left eye, and like basically the very center of my vision out of my left eye was blurred. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh no, I've been streaming Warframe for like almost 2 weeks at that point or whatever, daily and whatever, and I was like, oh man, I'm like killing my eyeballs here. Uh, so I grabbed some blue light glasses or whatever, take care of myself, took some days off just to like rest my eyes basically. And I'm fine now. So I wasn't going to mention it until I saw that it had healed itself. But
Well, that's
yeah,
good.
like
I'm glad you're doing better.
yeah, like health of the like personal health is definitely a big thing to take into consideration with anything, not just streaming. And I'm definitely not going to be one of those guys that like, oh, streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. Like it isn't. There's not a single job out there that is easier than streaming technically in terms of like to do things,
Physical
right?
exertion,
Like
I guess.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of like tech skill you do need, especially if you want to get into the higher ends of like video editing and stuff like I haven't edited a single video yet. I have none of that. I'm not an audiophile. I mean, the first like week of my streams had all sorts of messed up audio settings and stuff. Like so there's definitely like some tech to it, but I mean, short of maybe a security guard who sits at staring at a camera feed the whole time, like I can't think of many jobs that require less of me in terms of that. But I'm also a social person. Like I love talking to people, so it's not as draining to me as it might be to someone who is a very introverted, right?
Yeah, I will. I may not always present that way when we're like gaming and doing all that fun stuff and hanging out, but I prefer to be much more low key and chill. That's
Mhm.
actually why I like podcast form, because it's a one-on-one conversation. And if we've been here for half an hour, I can be like, hey, let's take like a quick break. I mean, we get a drink or something. But if I'm like playing Helldivers with you and we're actively in a mission, I can't be like, my social battery's a little low. Good luck.
Peace.
just leave you. So it's just it's finding that balance of like what I wanted, because I want to play with more people. But if I play with like,
Mhm.
no offense to John, but John gets like 8 people in his call sometimes, and that's like a lot for me.
Oh, it's
It's a
it's
it's
a
a lot for
lot.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm like 3-4 people is probably my sweet spot for collaborations, but like everybody I enjoy hanging out with and playing games that either plays while I'm at work,
Mhm.
only plays like Destiny 2 PvP. That is very targeted, by the way. They know who I'm talking about. Or they play at like weird hours and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually like it's weird because I can go to like a convention like PAX or whatever, right? And I will or a theme park even, right? And I will feed off of the energy of like so many people gathered, so much energy in the crowd and stuff. Like I'm a hyper crazy person in those kind of situations. But you put me in a Discord call with like 10 people, I'm not going to say a word. So much crosstalk and so much noise just in my ears. It actually does. It overloads me a lot. It's a weird situation. I think it's because it's more
Direct?
directed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, no,
I'm
because like I
definitely
went to like the Halo World Championships, and there was tons of people in that room, hundreds.
mhm.
And I was like fine, just like walking around, but I wasn't talking to a bunch of people. I wasn't like going out of my way to talk to 10 people at the same time, like I have to
Yeah,
do
and they're
when.
not all like fed directly into your ear.
Yeah, and they're also not all hyped up on whatever these people get hyped up on in some of the calls that we join.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's why I had John create the ranch dimension for me because I was like, look, I want to be a streamer and want to have like, people come in and have voice comms while we play games and stuff. But I don't want to be in a call where like 6 people will randomly join while we're trying to have comms for whatever, you know.
right. Well, that's why I asked if you wanted to be in the ranch dimension or here, because I wasn't sure how many people had perms to just join, and I was worried that somebody would just join.
Yeah, so the ranch dimension is just me. Only me and John can actually see it, uh, unless you're in the dimension itself, and only I have permissions to pull people in. I think John does too, but that's because he's server owner and
Server,
has
yeah,
permissions for
server owner
everything.
kind of can't really not let him do what he really wants.
But yeah, no, I specifically asked. I was like, look, I want it to be something that nobody else can interfere with, nobody else can like do because like it's for my stream quality, right? And because I didn't want to have because the other thing is like so just in streaming, you end up playing with random viewers from chat, right? Especially when you're small. Um, it's a good content thing, like kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit for people who haven't really done a lot of streaming stuff. Like it is a good way, like engaging the community in general is a good thing, right? So I didn't want to have a bunch of like private calls and DMs and stuff on Discord, right? Have to scroll through 40 people just to find a message from someone else, kind of a thing. Um, so the ranch dimension was a good sort of alternative.
Yeah. Well, and nothing for nothing. I enjoy having my own Discord because I can do whatever I want on it, but I'm much
hmm
more active in John's, but that's because it's more like a hub of creators and people who just enjoy content in general. So I'm more active in there because I talk about Strive and stuff. My server doesn't really talk about Strive. It's not super active. That's my own fault, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's so I list the grid as my Discord on Twitch and stuff. Um, and that was the intent. So I was there when John was starting up the grid. Like, I mean,
Mm.
obviously, I've been friends with the man for like 15 years or something like that.
No way.
Um,
Ranchard
yeah,
lore.
yeah, we met back in college and have just kind of been playing games ever since. Became really good friends. He and I are a lot alike. Like we are literally uh if ever there was a credence of like everybody kind of shares a soul or something like that, like he and we're very similar people, very similar beliefs, very similar everything, so we hit it off really well and we've just been friends ever since, kind of a thing. um Plus, like, the first years of college are very formative. for your adult life kind of a thing. You know, some people manage to keep friends from middle school into high school into college into adult life kind of a stuff, but
Forever,
a lot
yeah.
of people, yeah, but a lot of your friends are going to change. Like you're going to get, as you get older, you know, you're going to have your middle school friends, then you're going to have your high school friends, then you have your college, then you have your work buddies. Like, you know, you kind of grow these little packs as you engage in life, and John just is one of the ones that he and I have just stuck together
Yeah, as
for a
somebody
while.
who moved a lot, I don't have a bunch of like childhood friends I could reach out to.
Mhm.
Uh, my best friend in high school, we thought we would be like, hanging out together forever, and I don't think I've talked to
Mhm.
him in
Mhm.
like meaningfully in like 2 years or more, and that's like
Yeah.
well after I'm out of college, past high school, out of college. But I like the majority of people I was friends with in college, I'm not friends with anymore, or like you
Mhm.
can't call them your friends if you don't talk to them. Like so people say like you could have a friend that you don't talk to for 2 years, and you talk to them, and they're still your friend. And it's like, well, yes and no, because you could be a completely different person.
Yeah. Right? And like I don't know, I'm someone who is very particular about that word. You know, like for me a friend isn't just someone that I talk to on a, you know, even on a semi-regular basis necessarily. Like for me friends are people who I would go out of my way to do things for. Um People who I feel connections and attachments to, which may be a bit more in depth than like especially in like the modern age of like, oh, you know, we're friends on Facebook and it's just
Yeah,
some person that you've literally never seen in human, like you've never seen them in person, you've never like interacted with them beyond like three chats on Facebook or whatever, and it's like, well, that's not really a friend, you know,
it's an
that's just a
acquaintance.
person you've interacted with.
Yeah, friend is a term that is used a lot more liberally than it was 10, 20 plus years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's your friend now. Um, I do try to keep in mind that like just because I talk to somebody like a good amount on like a social media platform does not mean I'm friends with that person. It just means that we are acquaintances and or enjoy each other's conversation enough to tolerate one another.
Yeah. Well, and like part of it for like for a me thing, like maybe it's because I need to relax my definition of friend. Um. Uh. So that's something like for me, I try to keep in mind too. It's like people are like, oh yeah, we're friends. I was like, well, yeah, probably. You know,
Oh,
like
are we? You just like, look at them all fun. Like, are we?
those like moments in like anime or whatever where people are just kind of staring at each other like we're friends.
We
Um.
are.
Like I don't know. Like I like people. I generally enjoy people. I like to think that like 98% of the world population is good people and worth being friends with kind of a thing. And so I will always try to act as though someone is like someone I know personally, or you know, I guess that's the big thing, right? Like if I haven't seen your face, if I haven't interacted with you in the real world, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, we're friends. Right? Like I like you, you're a good person, I enjoy hanging out with you, but like I don't know who you are, right? Like I don't, you know, I assume like your name is Nick because you're Nick, my dude, but you could be a Ralph, you know, like I don't know.
That's my favorite joke to make to people. Is like, you guys think my name is Nick. It's actually Kevin.
Yeah, right. Like you don't know. I go by Ranch. Ain't nobody in the world named Ranch.
Want to
Well,
bet? No,
maybe
I'm
I
kidding.
don't know.
No, I get it. So when I was like really getting into like Twitch and stuff, that's when like parasocial relationships were like the talk of the town
Mm-hmm.
because people were going crazy. Because I know Twitch is a lot more intimate with the streamer than it was, 15 years ago. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
more
Mm-hmm.
access. You have a lot more access to the streamer, which is for good and for bad. So I have this friend that I've known for God, like 10 years now, and for the first 3 years, I probably would not have called them like a friend. I would be like, this is a content creator that I talk to a lot, and they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I would say I started considering them a friend when they were willing to send me a gift that potentially had their government name on it.
Oh, geez.
And so like now they don't have my address. If they ever wanted it, I would be more than happy to give it to them. But I've sent them things directly from like Etsy and stuff. So I
Hmm.
consider them my friend because they have trusted me enough to And that's like the only bar I have for like online friends, right? But like that's like if you're being really
It's a good
strict about it,
indicator.
yeah, it's like if somebody trusts you enough to give you their government name and their address, they trust you enough to call you their friend, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Parasocial like relationships are really weird. Like I mean it's
yeah,
kind of in the name, but like it is an interesting thing about streaming.
yeah. Actually, the fear I have of accidentally like overstepping like into a parasocial like relationship is probably why I'm so timid about asking or talking to John when he's streaming. Even if he has pulled me in there without me asking, because he's done that a couple times where I was just in a chat talking to someone and he's just pulled me up, and I'm still like, do I need to talk? What's going on? What's happening? So you know, that's like something I'm concerned about. Just like being too overly familiar, even if it's for like asking you to play Helldivers or to come on my podcast or do whatever. Just because we've hung out once doesn't mean you want to keep hanging out. So
Yeah, no, that like it is, and that's something that like I've been kind of struggling with in terms of streaming. Like, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate all of the people who watch me, right, and who support me, but like trying to figure out the line of like, well, I'm the streamer, they're the chatter, like that's the end of the relationship kind of a thing. But also like I still want to engage with them. I still want to like, you know, uh, have fun and chat and stuff. But I don't want to like get too like it's I can't remember the term for it, but it's people do it with like celebrities, right? They see their and it's kind of weird to compare yourself to a celebrity when you know 10 viewer Andy like me,
I mean
but
that's more fans than most people will have in their entire lives.
yeah,
So
but it's like well, and that's the thing, but it's like, you know, you people they get invested in like it's why like tabloids about celebrity marriages and stuff sell so much. It's like because the person's on their TV in their living room day after day after day. You believe it's like, "Oh, I have a relationship with this." The actor doesn't know who you are. Never seen you in their life. Like
mm,
you are less than a faceless void, but you feel connected to them because you see them every day. You see them in your favorite movies. They play your favorite characters. You know, you get to see interviews with them and stuff, and so you kind of develop this
you get an
weird
image of them.
relationship where you know them.
Yeah, you develop that image of them in your head, and this happens with streamers like a lot. Because
Mm-hmm.
I try to be pretty much the same. I actually try to be more boisterous in general when I'm streaming, and I usually don't succeed because I like to be even keel. I'm pretty chill. I like to be pretty chill and
Yeah.
relaxed. But like I was so I'll just use this friend as an example again. I knew them for roughly 3 years before I would start saying like, okay, this is like my friend. I was so worried like I would they would be like in an open voice chat that was like anybody could join whenever, and I would still
Mm-hmm.
DM them first before joining. I also had horrible social anxiety, so it didn't help. But I was worried that the streamer version of them that was like that I got along with in their chat was different than who they were because you don't want to be. A lot of people try to separate their stream personality from who they are
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. You can keep that up forever. Like if you've been streaming for years, it eventually like takes its toll. But keeping that separation is like people don't realize that. Like, um, who's a non-problematic actor at some level? Denzel
No,
Washington.
sure.
Denzel Washington may play the equalizer on your favorite movie, but I would be shocked if he was willing to hit somebody in the face with a book in real life,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
or if he
Well,
was that
yeah.
much of a
Right.
hard ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
That's
and
like an
yeah, and
extreme
like
example, but I think it gets the
yeah.
message across.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good like analogy for it. You know, like ranch smoothie for me has sort of become a persona. There's a lot of things that like we're not going to get political here, but I enjoy politics. I enjoy politics talking. I enjoy controversial stuff like that because I'm also a firm believer of like iron sharpens iron. You know, you don't learn by just hearing the same thing over and over again. You should go out and you should seek new knowledge or new perspectives, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
but ranch smoothie does not. right? Like Ranch Smoothie is a very like I'm online. I know people don't enjoy these kinds of talks, don't enjoy these kinds of things, so I don't bring them up. You know, if people engage me in them, I will respond, but I typically try to keep those to short form answers, short like, hey, you know, we're it's just not a part of who it is. So like yeah, there is something to be said about like um streaming and kind of these personas that end up getting created. And I mean like especially like cuz streaming is in your home, right? Now I believe you know like there you
No, I
want to
stream from
separate
McDonald's.
yeah, it's just
Just
you know,
in
local
the play
Starbucks cafe.
in
I've got
in
the
the
little
play
ring
place,
light and
in the McDonald's playpen or whatever. I'm just in the corner,
you're just sitting in the ball
yell
pit.
yelling about killing the bugs.
Yeah, but like you know, it is one of those like separate work from life kind of a thing, right? And like if you work from
Hmm.
home, people often say like have an office and then have, you know, that's your you going to work kind of a thing, right? Um because
As
it
okay,
can be kind of tiresome to have it bleed into each other.
yeah. As somebody who works from home, my I work off my through a virtual machine on my personal. Uh,
Mm.
so so I legitimately will be like, okay, I'm done with my stuff for work for today, but I've got like 2 hours of work. I'm gonna put myself in a meeting so no one talks to me, and I'm gonna go play Strive.
Nice.
Because, but like my significant other, she also works from home a few days of the week, but she needs the
Mm-hmm.
off like an office. Like she needs that separation of space, which is fair. Like so, you know, you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. It'd be like as much as I'm like, I think I'd be fine with it. I never would want to work in my bedroom because like I
Yeah.
would like go to lay down and be like, look at my computer and think of work.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And like I don't know, like I said, like it's one of those having that separation thing. Like for me, streaming, it's all in my room, right? Like so, I wake up, I look at the computer, I'm like, ah, it's Monday, and I love streaming. It's a lot of fun, but there is also that like, oh man, I gotta find a game that I can play. I gotta like set up this. I gotta set up that. Like there isn't a good
Exactly.
place to just relax.
I find streaming to be relatively relaxing as long as I'm not trying to be more out there. I don't. I will never play like
Mm-hmm.
as much as people would like it. I probably would never want to play a horror game on stream or like a really like Outlast or something. If somebody gave me a lot of money, I probably would. Everybody has a price, you know.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I am
Right.
not a. It's not something I would do because I wouldn't enjoy it. So I don't want to start resenting the things that I enjoy playing or like the thing
Mm-hmm.
because I enjoy streaming. I don't do it very much because I also enjoy building Gundams and watching anime and reading and watching other people
Mm-hmm.
stream. So I just don't. It's a fine balance, and I think for some people they need that separation and it makes sense, and then some people like me, it's more okay. Like I can just sit here and be like, okay, cool. The worst thing about it is that when you work from home and a lot of your hobbies are like not physical based, it's been a problem. I actually bought some weights so I could start doing stuff because my gym
Mm-hmm.
around here is terrible.
Oh, like yeah, that is something too. Like, excuse me, I part of the IRL things is working out. You know, like when you have a job, and this is not just streaming, like any job where like you do a lot of sitting at a desk or sitting on the computer or you know whatever, right? Not physical things. Like I'm a big proponent of go out, move some heavy blocks of metal, call yourself, you know, get some good cardio, get yourself into some decent shape, you know. Um for me like health is like obviously you don't want to go out and eat like McDonald's 4 times a day, but at the same time like if you're active enough and you're healthy enough, like what you eat doesn't matter as much as what you do. Um you know, burn the calories and then you can eat the calories, whatever.
Yeah, as
But
long as you're
definitely go
what
ahead.
is it like all those fitness people are like, yeah, these diets and stuff are a scam. As long as you're doing more to burn, like you're burning more than you consume, you'll lose weight. Some things
Yeah,
will help you lose
basically.
weight faster, like not eating McDonald's 4 times a day and eating, you know, chicken and rice will help you lose faster. But overall, like you're gonna lose weight if you do more work with your body than you put in terms of food, which is something I'm
Yeah,
working because when you're sitting
yeah,
down all
and
day, you know,
I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a
this is not health
physical
advice.
therapy. Like, yeah, it's not health advice, but like it is mathematical. It makes mathematical sense, right? Like if you burn 2,000 calories a day, well then eating 2,000 calories puts you at net zero, right? And that's kind of the idea behind the daily value, anyways. But if you're only burning 500 and you're eating 3,000, like
You're gonna gain
you're
weight.
gonna get fat. Like just to put it like kind of bluntly, like that's
Yeah.
how that works, you know?
Well, and like the hard adjustment for me is that before I started working from home, all of my jobs, like retail, working for a college, doing events and stuff, so I was walking everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Before I got my first sit down job, I was walking multiple miles every shift I had, like constantly. And then I went from that to like working from home and the gyms nearby being far away or being like super expensive and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. And so like finally I just bought like a 25-pound kettlebell recently, and I've been trying. I'm gonna I've been doing that, trying to lose some weight because
Yeah.
I need to lose some weight. Like I know I need to lose some weight. I am well over what I should be, and I'm working on it. But so streaming back to like streaming and stuff, how is like what's been your what's like the thing that you found the most fun or like most interesting? Because you've only been going for a few weeks now. So but like what's like the most interesting or fun thing that's kind of like you weren't expecting? I know you're kind of
About
around
streaming
John and
specifically?
yeah, like being like a streamer and doing that content. I know you've been around John and like other like people who've done a lot of content, so it's a little different perspective for you. But I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I actually hit my like 1 month of streaming, well, of affiliate, like this week, um, which was kind of cool. But I don't like. I have spent a lot of time in um. Oh God, it's been a few years at this point, or at least 2 years. I think three. I think it kind of started around the time of COVID, but I really was hanging around another streamer buddy of mine, and eventually became a moderator for his channel and stuff. But I learned like I've learned a lot by just kind of being exposed to that kind of a thing. You know, kind of seeing the struggles he's put up with or had to deal with, and being in stream calls with him while we're playing games and stuff like that. So I kind of there isn't really anything that surprised me, I guess, or that has like I guess the biggest thing would be the support. Uh, I Part of the reason I haven't streamed up until this point is because I don't think I particularly am a super entertaining person by myself. I mean, if you watch the old videos of John and me and our group of friends when kind of John was taken off, playing Destiny and doing silly things, like I'm kind of the straight man of the group. I don't do the funny jokes. I'm the guy that like they do the joke and then I react, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah,
Um, and so in the comedy act, for people who don't know, there is a guy called the straight guy, and he's the guy that doesn't do the jokes. He's just the one that the jokes kind of bounce off of with reactions to kind of bring the audience in, so to speak. Um, so I don't think I'm personally very funny on my own. But like again, only I think I average like 9 to 12 viewers a stream or whatever, and like the fact that that is even a thing, like that I never expected to get anyone to follow me. I always kind of expected to be the guy kind of cleaning to John's coattails, so to speak, and just kind of like, you know, famous by association kind of a deal, right? um,
I think
but I
that
mean,
is. I mean that kind of falls into that conversation we were having earlier about the parasocial almost relationship with you guys. It's different because you know him, but like I know that that's a fear that like I haven't been in any videos of John's. I don't even know if I will be. I don't even want to assume. I feel like I
mm-hmm.
will be because there's been some Halo moments and I was a part of them. So I would assume that if there's a Halo moment in there, I'm probably in there, but I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'm for sure in his video.
Yeah, we'll find out in 2026 when he gets the
Yeah,
video
when he
out
gets
when
the
it's
today,
part.
when he gets, yeah, when he gets the most recent video out. Uh, but it's like the first time I hung out with you guys. I don't know. I don't remember. I think you were there. I'm pretty sure you were there. But I
I
was.
I remember getting booty blasted by you. I don't know if that was the first time you you were with us or
Yeah,
not, but
yeah. I don't remember. I don't because I've gone back and watched that stream, and you were definitely in there, but I don't remember which. I don't remember right now which one that was because there's two for
yeah.
sure. Um, but I was. It was literally the first game that we were playing against other members of the grid. So it was John Viewer versus John Viewer, and somebody
Mhm.
was like, "This guy should stream," and I was like, "Me stream? Never actively streaming. Like the stream is on." Because I literally they said that, and was like so scared John would check that and be like, "Why the hell are you streaming?" Like I didn't think he was that kind of person, but
Right.
I didn't want to overstep my, I didn't want to overstep, and I didn't want to. I don't like I'm a mod in a Halo Pro stream, and a couple
Mhm.
people in there watch me and they follow my content, and they asked in that chat if I was going to stream that day, and I deleted the message like instantly deleted the message, and I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, I appreciate the support, and I really like it's really cool that you are curious and stuff. This is so and so's channel. This is not my
Mhm.
channel. They have not given me permission to advertise here, so I don't want to I don't want to set that precedent or like have that precedent set.
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
so like every time John's doing anything and I'm streaming or like he pulls me in and I'm like and I was like, oh, I was recording. Can I keep recording? In my head, I'm like, I just don't want to overstep my bounds. And I do the same thing with
Yeah.
you. Like when you're streaming, I ask if you want to play Helldivers with the intention of it being a duo stream, not so much like even if you were like, I don't know. I get concerned with that stuff because I don't want people to think I'm trying to leech their viewers because I'm not. I'm just there to
Yeah.
hang
No,
out with
I
them.
definitely like there is uh I gotta figure out the words. um, like, so for me, like, you don't have to worry about that, and for John, you really don't have to worry about that. I don't know if that's been made clear by this point, but like, the grid really is supposed to be a hub for, like, John. Part of the reason he's my best friend is he is one of the most generous dudes, like, honest to God, kind soul, like, just wants everybody to succeed and have fun and live a good life. Like there has I have never met such a good person in my life outside of him. Uh,
Yeah,
that
I
I
mean,
know, I should say that I know well.
I don't even
So
know him
like,
as well anywhere near as well as you because you know him one in person and two for 15 years. Uh, and I can tell you right now, he's of overly generous in a good way, kind, genuine person. So
yeah,
it's part of his like growing success.
yeah, and so like the grid was made with that intent in mind. Um, my like for me, my hard line is like I don't mind people. Again, I consider myself small still. I understand that like 10 viewers or whatever, like that's more than the average human will ever have, right? Like, but or like what would experience in average everyday life, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't just
right.
go
You don't
around
go to
your life with
work.
10 people
Yeah,
following
you
you.
don't go to
Yeah.
work and have 10 people cheering for you.
Exactly. But like so I don't care. Like if people want to stream alongside me, or even if they say like, hey, I'm going to be streaming later, like whatever. Like if I'm being completely honest, the business sense in me says, hey, you know what, that gets my name out there, right? Like the more people that hear of Ranch Smoothie are gonna be more likely to at least stop by the stream to be like, what is this weird crazy name person doing, you know?
Yeah,
um and maybe they stick around, maybe they don't, right? Like it's whatever. But um so I don't care either. And like by the time if slash when I ever get big enough that like it would be an issue, like it won't be an issue then either, because it's like, well, okay, fine. I have, let's say I have 100 viewers at that time. Like, okay, I have 100 viewers and you leech two of them. Big deal. Most people have multiple tabs open anyways. Like, I'm
exactly.
not under the illusion that my Twitch stream is the only thing going on somebody's PC when I'm streaming. Like, I guarantee I'm side content montent. Side content montent.
Signed Conator
Uh,
Montent.
yeah,
That's
side monitor content at best. Like it is what it is. Um And I think that's another thing that I've learned via being around streamers a lot. Like, uh, I have realistic expectations. I would say, uh, I don't expect to make partner anytime soon. Honestly, like if something happens and I somehow blow up, cool. But I don't expect that. I mean, I was with my first streamer buddy. Like, I think he took a year to hit partner.
And that's fast. Like for anybody
Yeah.
who doesn't know, hitting partner in a year is like unless you're doing something super like out. I don't want to say out there, but like innovative and like insane.
Hmm.
Or they have like you have to have like a combination of that good person and good personality to hit partner in a year.
Yeah. Like for me, as I understand the kind of Twitch universe, there are kind of three things you need uh, to be a Twitch content creator. First, you need to either be, I guess there's two things, but one of them is like an either or. You either need to be like really really good at the game, um, someone who like you can pull off sick plays, you can do cool things, and it has to be a game with that uh, showcases that, right? Like so, Destiny works really well with that. Halo works really well. Shooters in general work really well with that.
Shooters is probably
Because you
the easiest.
yeah, because you could do some really cool plays, and you can get the clicks and stuff. Otherwise, you have to be really entertaining. I think John does a good combination of those two. He's pretty good at the game, and he's a really funny dude to listen to. Like some of the stuff he says and the way he interacts with people can be really enjoyable. Um, so you have to have sort of something in those categories. You have to be good at the game. You have to be funny, entertaining to watch. One or the other, either in excess or some sort of good combination of both. But then also you kind of have to find the wave. And so for my first streamer buddy, and I could be misspeaking. I don't know if he'll ever see this podcast, but like it might have taken him longer than a year, but I want to say it was roughly that time. Um, like he was riding the wave of like Sea of Thieves when it was big, and
Mm-hmm.
then the wave of playing spooky games around October, kind of a thing, right? And that was the big one. It was like Phasmophobia had just come out, so a lot of new people were watching it. You catch that wave, it helps you push you over the edge of needing the 75 viewers or whatever. Um, so that's a lot of it. If I'm being completely honest, and again pulling back the curtain for people who are not super familiar with streaming, I'm kind of hoping Monster Hunter Wilds does that for me. I'm really hoping to catch that wave. I've got my surfboard ready, like
Your surfboard or your
I'm
surfboard?
mm.
That the real hard hitting questions that people tune in for.
But yeah, no, I'm really hoping. Like, part of it is also I'm super excited for that game. Like, I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise and
Yeah, a
Worlds now for
lot.
like the like I'm so excited for Wilds. That beta has put the bug in me something fierce. I am super super stoked for that one to come out, but I have to wait until March basically.
Oh wow. Well, nothing
But
for nothing. I hope it does pick up for you. I mean, you're a genuine dude as far as I know, and I like to see people I hang out with and play games with succeed. I
yeah.
unfortunately am tied to Halo uh like a mob trader is tied to a stone in the bottom of a river. I love that game. I love that game so much that it's not like a detrimental problem to me as a person and like my well-being. It's a detrimental problem to my ability to find games that I enjoy that are in the shooter genre because nothing
Hmm.
as much as people are like, "Oh, you play Call of Duty, play whatever," they're not Halo. They don't feel like Halo, and so I don't enjoy
Halo was
playing them.
revolutionary.
Halo revolutionized the two-weapon system. It brought forth Xbox Live. It was like the biggest game on Xbox Live when it came out. Halo 3 had the best social features of any game on console
Hmm.
that had ever been released. But and now it's it is where it is, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But no game, like no shooter game, has captured me for like Halo has, and it's very unfortunate because I enjoy like the reason why I play so much Strive is because this is the first game since Halo that I've been like I want to get good at this game,
Hmm.
and I think I told that to Anakin, and they were like, "Oh no."
Strive is like, I mean, just to kind of really quickly touch on the Halo thing, like that is something John and I have always agreed on is Halo is probably the most genre defining game in across all genres like ever. Like it is so much of the tech in modern shooters came because of Halo.
Yeah, the
Like
twin
they
stick
came around
shooter
because
does
of
not
Halo.
exist in the way it does now without the way
Yeah.
Halo like performed.
Well, and the thing is like back when Halo was a thing, like Medal of Honor existed, Call of Duty existed, right? Like these things, like they had alternatives, and they just weren't as good. Like Halo really truly defined what it means to have a shooter. Um,
On console specifically,
all
because
on
arena
console,
shooters
yeah.
were around. I would say we're gonna. I could talk about this for hours, so let's. I'm gonna keep this quick, and then we're gonna talk. Well, I'm gonna try to move on to something else. Uh, but in terms of like shooter game popularity, like Quake has never Quake,
True.
uh, Wolfenstein, UT, never like they were popular for the PC crowd, but I don't think they ever had the install base that like Halo built, and shooters in general didn't have that install base. And I don't have like
Yeah.
hard numbers for this, but this is from my understanding of gaming history. Like Halo 1 comes out and shooters are revolutionized forever. It
Yeah.
becomes like a mainstay. Like Halo 2 comes out, Call of Duty starts coming out with like Big Red 1 and Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4. Halo 3 comes out, you know, you start getting these other FPS games, and then you start getting like third person shooters on console like Gears and other things.
Hmm.
They used to put out multiple games a year called the Halo Killer. They don't do that stuff
Yeah.
for any. There's no other game that comes out right now. They're not like Fortnite was that. I think Fortnite was like a industry industry defining game for better or for worse. That that's like the only other game I've heard where it's like multiple games come out. Oh, is this the Fortnite killer? Oh, is this the Halo killer? Oh, is this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating to have been a part of Halo from when it was, ooh, here comes the next Halo killer, and it not work, to ooh, here's the next Halo killer, and it's just the next Halo game.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Halo. I guess I kind of said that Halo was the most defining for genres across all genres, but then you also have like World of Warcraft, right? Like, there's always like, what's the next WoW killer, right? And that here we are, World of Warcraft still exists. In fact, they are reselling World of Warcraft with WoW Classic. Um,
Yep.
that one gets me every time because it's like the point of WoW Classic was like, hey, we're gonna go back to the roots, and now,
Oh, I lost you. I think you were talking
oh
about.
no, well,
The last thing I heard was you were like they're reselling WoW Classic, which is funny to me because blank.
oh, freaking Discord. I gotta fix my computer, man. Um, yeah, there. It was funny to me because like I thought the point of WoW Classic was like, hey, we want to go back to the glory days of WoW, right? Like we're trying to get rid of the crazy number bloat from Cataclysm and all the stuff that people hated after Wrath of the Lich King, basically. And then they just released Cataclysm, so it's like, well, what's the point of WoW Classic anymore? They're just reselling you guys the game. Like people are silly. It's
They're
like
taking the Elder
the
Scrolls
40.
approach. I see.
Yeah, it's like the set 47 different variations of Skyrim. Like,
Yeah.
why do people keep buying this game? Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, there are some definite like genre defining games out there, and Halo is absolutely one of them.
I just feel this is this is personal bias talking because I play Halo. I just feel like
Hmm.
Halo overall has gotten like, I don't want to say the most disrespect from the people making it, but the short end of the stick of people making it for the better part of 10 years. No, 12 years or more, depending on how you feel about Reach. And I don't look on it too favorably, but at least it was a finished product when it came out.
I don't have the nostalgia for Halo that a lot of people have. I didn't grow up with an Xbox. I was a Dreamcast kid. Um, rest in peace, Dreamcast. But like, but yeah, like, uh, I don't know. So my first real like I own the game of Halo was Reach, and I enjoyed the Forge. I really like. I mean, I like the Forge in Infinite. I really like making the maps and stuff. It's something that I would love to do on stream, but it's one of those things where it's like I don't think people would want to watch it because I think it's kind of boring to watch, honestly. Um,
Is it
but
not to catch up,
go
but the
ahead.
Forge is, it's interesting to watch if you know anything about game design
Mm-hmm.
or have ever used scripting before. So like for me, watching you do that stuff, I'm like, cool, I understand what's going on here. I want to see how they solve whatever problem or how you approach this thing. But to
Mhm,
somebody who's
mhm.
like, I'm here to see the shooty, they're gonna be like, well, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? I think that kind of falls into the sort of esoteric knowledge territory. Like, I mean, it's why people watch the games that they are their favorite game, right? It's like, well, because I understand what it takes to um, do such a thing. Like, kind of tying into Strive, like watching Swerks play Bedman. Uh, the bed bounce combo thing that they do, like the amount of technicality they need to pull that off consistently is
Hmm.
wild. I have broken my wrist trying to copy it. It is insane. That's I haven't actually broken my wrist, but like it is so phenomenal to watch them play and be like, oh yeah, I understand exactly what's going on. Like, don't get me wrong, I love watching Scud and Ashen and all of them play like their the Vikings, the Sins, the whatever, right? But like I don't understand what they do because I've never played those characters. But I know what Bedman does, and I know what it takes to do the different combos of Bedman. So it's like it's really fun watching that, and that kind of ties into if you watch a Halo Forge stream or even people watch like Pirate Software, right? Like if you don't understand coding, you're not going to enjoy much of what he does on the screen. You might enjoy what he talks about, but you don't enjoy what he's doing on the screen because you don't know what that any of that means, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I know,
Oh,
and that's
Pirate
also why
Software.
I like to stream Halo, and wish I could. I don't know. Wish Halo had that viewer base or that the player base did because I know Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I know it really well, and it's just a game I
It
enjoy
is.
playing.
It is kind of weird. I guess part of it is because of how like successful Destiny has been. Because I will say, like, as defining as Halo has been, like Destiny has also, for all of its flaws, and there are many of those flaws, like it did build upon the structure of Halo pretty well. In terms of like how they like the gunplay in Destiny is among the best in my opinion. I can't think of many shooters off the top of my head outside of maybe Halo that even come close. Um, the idea of supers and empowered grenades and all these like the classes really cool. I wish they had leaned more into the kind of the
The
Trinity archetypes of
traditional, yeah, the traditional
yeah.
Trinity, yeah, that's something I've talked about. I think a lot with
Like
in
but
trade
they
chat
did well.
even. Yeah, I think
Yeah, exactly.
I think Destiny did a good job, and it there's a game mode where um supers and abilities aren't as important. That's rotational called hardware that I want to try.
Mhm.
Because I mean, right now it's a lot of ability spam. There's lots of abilities constantly. It's and like I can have fun and enjoy it. It's just not my cup of tea to play consistently, so I don't.
Yeah.
But
I would
it's
actually almost say that Destiny is like a hero shooter.
yeah, it's closer to a hero shooter I think than anything because not because of like the loop part, but because of the abilities.
Mhm.
Everybody's got like a grapple hook or a fucking
Yeah.
nuke they can throw at somebody, you know?
Mechanically speaking, I would say it is very much because I mean a hero shooter. You pick a character, he's got some abilities he can spam, and like Overwatch, he's got a gun he can shoot or whatever, right? Like, and that's basically Destiny mechanics. You've got some abilities you can spam, you've got a gun you can shoot. Um, I don't know, like, and I bitch a lot about. Sorry, I don't know if you're okay with swearing or not. I
You can
complain
swear
a
just
lot.
not excessively. Just
Sure.
you
I
you can
complain
swear a
a
little bit.
lot about Destiny in Discord. I am Destiny's number one hater. Uh, but I
Well,
also
you play Titan, don't
I
you? Like mainly?
yeah, I'm
Yeah, so
almost
you have
exclusively a Titan player.
you have more reason than any. So anybody who doesn't play Destiny that watches this, which I think most people have, Titans constantly get shafted by balancing patches by Bungie and like get the short end of the stick constantly. So Titan players, if they're complaining about something, they deserve to complain about that. I don't care.
There were yeah, I mean just as a three Titans out of the top 50 teams, which is 300 people. There were three that were Titans. 1% that cleared the uh, latest raid when it came out on the hardest difficult, the contest mode raid. Like no, like they Bungie doesn't know how to balance Titans, and part of that is because they really, I personally think they really want to lean into the classic Trinity, but are afraid to,
It's a
like,
little
because
sorry,
sorry,
it's
go
a
ahead.
little late, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they uh they've gone they made the classic Trinity in Destiny 1, but then they also were like, well, we want every class to be able to do everything. Like that was a statement they made. Um
Hmm.
which is why they don't have like, because originally people were kind of speculating when Destiny 1 came out. They were like, oh, so hunters are going to be the snipers, warlocks are going to have like submachine guns, maybe a hand cannon or something, and then Titans, they'll get the assault rifles and the heavy guns or whatever. And Bungie at the time was like, no, 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 everybody does everything. Um, and then like they try to balance that, and unfortunately, Titans. When you think of a Titan, what they do is they punch, and punching in a game full of guns and ranged attacks and like you can't like they just don't know how to
Yeah.
balance it. They don't know how to make it a fun playable game loop
Yeah, the issue
that
the issue with
nobody
like
else complains about.
the issue with like having like, oh, I'm a melee character in a shooter game is either the melee character fucking sucks or they're broken. I've
Mm-hmm.
never played a shooter game barring like Overwatch 2, but like that's not even what the same thing in terms of like balancing cuz Genji is literally like just dashing around. Overwatch 2
Yeah.
does the best in terms of balancing a melee versus shooter like meta. They
Mm-hmm.
usually don't do all that great, but also Overwatch time to kill is insane. So
Yeah.
you get away with stuff. You can get away with your character being a melee character or like having a giant shield. You should give them more health. You make them have more HP. But the way
Mm-hmm.
Destiny
Mm-hmm.
is balanced, you can't give if you give Titans too much HP, it stops being fun.
Well, yeah, and it's like, and I mean, like, hunters have a good melee build, right? The liar's handshake combo blow, they heal just as much as a Titan, and they can go invisible while they're doing it. Like it's silly, it's stupid. Like,
Yeah,
well, I did play hunter for a little bit in the final shape, and that's the build I did. It was the Titan light build. Um, so
it was
like
just the better Titan build because
it
now
was
you
literally
can
just
turn
it
invisible.
was yeah, exactly. It was what I was doing on Titan, but more survivability. Little less wave clear because consecrate is like an AoE, but like I could just walk
Ad
around and
clear
punch
isn't
things and be invisible.
Yeah,
So
ad clear is never really a problem in Destiny.
yeah,
I think I
but
put this in a chat and you responded to it or like you were like yeah like basically like +1 because it was a Discord message. You can't do that, but I was like if they added more raid light mechanics to Destiny, most players' heads would explode. Um,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
and
Well, and it's
that's
like
what I think that's what holds back the ability to balance Titans because like Titans are like supposed to be quote unquote tanks and
yeah,
your wizard or the warlocks. I know I said wizard. The warlocks are your quote unquote support, and hunters are your quote unquote DPS.
yeah. Like if you were to try to compare them to the classic Trinity, you got the warrior, the rogue, and the mage, right? That's kind of the idea behind them, and that's sort of in Destiny 1. That's what they were. You had the Titan who was kind of the frontliner. He would run in and pop his shield or whatever, do his things. Um, you had the hunter that was good at staying at range, moving around, shoot and move kind of things, and you had the warlock who was like crazy grenade spam and stuff like that. And early D2 was very similar, but they they then started rolling out more and more changes to kind of, I don't know. I don't know why they did it. Honestly, I could
Keep
speculate
it
that it was to
fresh.
cater to the, yeah. It's like um
The majority of players play hunter, so any changes that
mhm,
benefit hunters it's just money moves.
exactly. It's like the the final shape was made for hunters because they knew where their player base was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they were like, I mean, if you look at just the class item, hunters feasting on the perks that they get, and Titans and Warlocks are kind of like meh, you know. Uh, but I don't know. I
I
don't
think the
know. Like,
warlock ones are easier to work as a warlock man. I think the warlock ones were easier to work with than the Titan ones.
yeah, I mean that's for sure. the problem is like Titan exotics, and this is another like, it's not just that they don't know how to balance them; it's that they don't know how to make Titans have a fun identity. I don't remember who it was that was talking about it. I think it might have been Dato, but or Dato. I don't know how to say his name. Um, but like the thing that Titans have struggled with is they don't have an identity. You know, you think of a hunter and you can think of the cool things they do. You can think of the warlock, you can think of the cool things they do. With Titan, it's like they can punch, but so can every other class. You know,
And other classes are better at it, honestly.
and
Other than
and in most cases, like outside of Synthoceps, like when you think of a Titan, what do you think of? Like that's it. Maybe you think of like Lulge and his crazy angles with
but that's
the,
he could do that. He does that on
but
Hunter now.
he does it on Hunter exactly. Like it's not a Titan specific thing, and so
And
like
and
I don't know. It's just
for the
they're good at it.
majority of people, as cool, like I love Lodge's angles. I think it's hilarious when he snipes people. Um, that's not like Destiny 2 content. That's PvP content, which I think is a separate thing to Destiny 2. Because you're not going to do that
Mhm.
in like Salvation's Grasp or whatever was it
You're not going to
Salvation's
do it in a
Edge.
raid. You're not going to
You're not
do
going
it
to
in
do
a
it.
dungeon. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
it's cool. It deserves to be praised and enjoyed, but it's niche to PvP, which is, and again, in my
yeah,
opinion, not the Destiny 2 experience.
yeah. What and there are there are those PvP heads out there who will disagree, but Destiny 2 is a PvE game with a PvP mode. I mean, it's like World of Warcraft is a PvE game with PvP modes. The core gameplay loop of the game is go do these PvE events, go do these different activities that are PvE, and then PvP is basically just there to retain player base because once you've beaten the story so many times, like what else is there to do, you know?
Yeah, and in my
Once you've
opinion, they
farmed all
should
the
be
good gear,
balancing.
like
They should be balancing PvP separate, but they'll never do that.
oh for
So
sure, absolutely. Like there's really no reason they can't. It's just laziness.
I mean,
But
they did with the abilities. You get your abilities slower, but other than that, I don't think there's any real changes, which I think is silly. But
yeah,
whatever.
I don't like they've been trying to balance it more, I guess, but like I don't know. And the other kind of side of it is like, they had to lay off a bunch of people. So they clearly had the manpower to balance it separately. They just don't. So I don't know. It is what it is. I think Destiny is finally wrapping up. Thank goodness. I haven't actually played it since the episodes released.
I need to
I
play.
think I played like week 2.
I need to play the content. I paid for it. I might as well play it. I just it's just gonna There's nothing like I play
Yeah.
the story and I'm like this is neat. Like it's a take on space vampires basically. But
Yeah.
meh.
Yeah, and and again, I mean, I'm Titan player. I there are so many cool things I wish they would have done with Titan. The fact that like the shields taunt now is kind of cool. The barricades taunt, but like it's too little, too late, and realistically, like the barricades don't last long enough, anyways. Like who cares?
I also don't think that like the issues with Titans wasn't their ability to add clear or to like if you can taunt a boss, I guess that's cool, but those shields don't hold up to a boss for very long.
Yeah,
So does your taunt go away really quickly? Like is it really that you I guess like general like regular strikes and like regular stuff, it's probably fine, but at the higher end content, it's still not very good.
yeah. In any of the content where you would actually make use of such a crowd control ability, like two, 3 shots and the shield's gone. It's why so they introduced that unbreakable aspect or whatever, and like I think it's the worst aspect ever put into the game. I mean, I know a lot of hunters were kind of complaining that their ascension was kind of boring or whatever, but like unbreakable is so worthless. You put up a shield and then you can pop it to kind of like shotgun blast energy in front of you or whatever, and it's like that's great and all, but the shield lasts even if it's not being shot. The shield lasts for like 3 seconds, maybe 5. But like if it is being shot, which you want it to be shot because then it does more damage when you do the blast. Uh, it 5 bullets and it's gone, and like so it doesn't do anything. It literally is the most useless ability in the game. You can't block any good damage from it. or like we saw in the trade chat, the one of the guys was talking about like Furiosa, which is the more damage you block with your super shield as a Void Titan, the longer it lasts, basically. And it's like, well, that's good and all, but alternatively, you could have Twilight Arsenal, you could have
You could be playing a
Thunder
hunter.
Crash.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you could be playing a hunter and Golden Gun for 500,000, or actually, I think it's like 1.5 million unless they tuned it down. Like,
Yeah, I mean the
it's
underlying issue with
ridiculous.
Destiny isn't um the identities really. It's the content is designed around just do big damage
Hmm.
fast. Not there's not that's why it's like red light mechanics would cause the Destiny community's heads to explode. Because if Titans were had like an ability to block AoE damage, and then you introduced a boss that was like everybody had to stack on a Titan. And if you didn't
Dude,
have a Titan, you were just kind of like gonna take a lot of damage for no reason other than the fact that you didn't have a Titan. Like that's
they had that in early Destiny. There were literally raid mechanics or like situations where you needed the Titan bubble to survive it. But they made the Warlock's well so powerful that like
you
you
just
could
tried,
just
yeah,
heal through
just
it anyways.
yeah, the
And
WoW.
so like all they would need to do to make Titans viable is give them an exotic that lets you shoot from the inside of their bubble to the outside. Like make it a one-way thing so that you can shoot out. And and they wouldn't even have to make a new exotic. They could just change Titan's ramparts, which is already in the game and does something kind of similar, but to barricades. Like just make it affect the Ward of Dawn, and now all of a sudden Bubble Titans are useful again, right? I was like, they had the I can't remember, I think it was in the actual Excision sort of end of story scenario activity thing. Um, but there was a moment where Saint 14 puts up a bubble that everybody has to go and huddle in. It's like, make it so a player has to do that. You know,
Yeah, it was
put
super
that
sick,
kind of
by the
stuff
way.
in the game.
Yeah, I just
But
I mean, because I don't know if you've played Final Fantasy 14, but you've played other MMOs where like
mm-hmm.
it'll have like one player will get singled out by like a boss attack, and what you're supposed to do is everybody just gathers on that person to split the damage so that you don't die.
Yeah.
And they don't like they could do that in Destiny. They could get away with that.
Oh, for
And
sure.
what
I
you
mean
do is
the
and people are like, well, that's not fair. It's a bunch of free damage, and like that could kill you. And I'm like, well, what you do is you just say if all 6 people stack, you take no damage.
yeah. So
Whoa.
I have actually played Final Fantasy 14, the critically acclaimed MMO.
Yeah.
Um,
Now with a free trial up to level
I think it's up
70.
to level 70 at this point.
Yeah, through the award-winning DLCs of Stormbringer and Storm or Heaven's Ward
Yeah,
and Stormblood.
yeah. But yeah, no, like the Susanoo fight is one that I always think of because like in that fight, whoever is like kind of standing in the middle parries the fucking sword, and
Oh
like
yeah,
while
that
the
fight
rest
is
of the
sick.
it's so sick, and it's like if you could give Titans that moment with their bubble, like they would never ask for anything else in all of Destiny 2 gameplay. I guarantee it. If they had one activity where they could do that, they would only play that activity. But they would at least they wouldn't ask for anything else.
Or there's like
But
it's the original. I don't know if it's the first. It's the story before you get to Heaven's Ward. It's like the launch story. There's like this part where the boss is gonna shoot this like super big laser, and paladins can run up and use passage of arms, and
mm-hmm.
everybody can stand behind
Yeah,
him, and you set like these cool wings and stuff, and you like protect the whole like 12 people behind 11 other people behind you, and it's like the coolest fucking shit ever. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is
it's
awesome. I'm
super
never
cool.
playing anything other than this class. I love this class. Let me use passage of
That
arms for
mission
everything.
explicitly, yeah, that mission explicitly is why John plays Paladin. Like he did that once and was like, I'm never playing anything
Yeah,
else.
I got to that part and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
It's so cool. I played predominantly, so I was a red mage at this like beginning, but then I went to, or rather I started off as summoner, and then once I had red mage unlocked, I played red mage, and then I swapped back to summoner when they changed it in Shadowbringers.
I need to beat that DLC.
Endwalker.
I own it. I
Endwalker.
haven't played it. Or Endwalker.
It's a
That's
lot
what
of
I meant.
fun. I don't have
It's
the
the Paladin
time for an
DLC too.
MMO.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
nah.
yeah, it is.
I just don't want
Yeah,
to pay the
I don't
subscription.
have time for it. You know.
Yeah. Well, we're a little over an hour, and I know we got some stuff to cut out, but I want to get to kind of more toward our wrap up questions. I don't want to take too
Sure,
much of your
sure.
time. I know bracket got canceled, but I'm sure you've got stuff you want to do.
Yeah, I got a sister's birthday or something to take care of.
Yeah. So,
At some point, yeah, I just stopped celebrating those. You know.
yeah, the most I expect I do for my birthday is, can we go eat somewhere fun? I just want to
Yeah.
eat. I want to eat like it's horrible for you, and most of them are terrible. But like Golden Corral, I want to go somewhere I can get like a buffet.
Mm.
Just take me to a buffet. I know this stuff is probably not passing the food inspection, but it's tasty and there's a lot of it, and I only have to pay for one plate technically.
I already lived an extra year. What's one more day?
Yeah, yeah, shit. The sooner I die, the sooner I don't have to worry about late stage capitalism. Like, what do you mean? But
Yeah.
so one of my questions was, where did you come up with the name Ranch Smoothie?
So, oh my gosh. Oh god, it was probably close to like 13, 14 years ago by at this point. It was right when like online ordering was becoming, or mobile app ordering was kind of becoming a thing. I think it was Domino's had it such that you could like order your special toppings, right? And there was the
Right.
meme of a guy ordering a pizza that was none pizza with left beef, meaning and then like he took a picture of it or whatever, put it on the internet, and it went viral. And the pizza was literally just the pizza crust with beef
Oh,
kind of thrown
yeah,
on the
yeah,
left
yeah,
half
yeah.
of it.
I know this picture. Yeah, I know the picture.
Yeah. And so like while we were doing that, we're like, man, what kind of stupid drinks and other foods could we come up with to have with this none pizza left beef? And one of them was a ranch smoothie with no cheese, extra broccoli, and some carrots. Um, and so that's just kind of, I was like, ranch smoothie, that sounds like a disgusting drink. Let's make that my gamer tag. And at the time, like, I don't know, I always had a thing for food in gamer tags. My
Mhm.
first one for the longest time was from a sign outside of a Chinese restaurant that said avocado duck, and so I was avocado duck for years. And then yeah, just ranch smoothie. That was it. It was a disgusting drink, kind of made up to go alongside a meme, and I was like, I really like this, and I've just kind of stuck with it. You know, it gets reactions from people, and it's always really fun to see people be like, "Oh my god, what are you talk? What is this?"
Ranch Smoothie.
Yeah, I had one person was like, "Is that a euphemism for something?" And I was like, oh."
Uh
But yeah, I was like,
oh.
"Yeah, no."
No, but gross.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the origin. It's not like the funniest or best of stories. I have a lot of people ask me like, "Have you ever drank one?" Yes, I drank one ranch smoothie in my life. Um, it's not very good.
A streamer I follow drinks mayonnaise, so
I love mayonnaise. I put mayonnaise on. I'm a white guy. I am the whitest white guy. Like I will eat mayonnaise on pretty much anything. I will eat ranch on pretty much anything. I will not drink mayonnaise. That is disgusting.
yeah. They said that a boba straw is the best way.
Ew. Oh
Yeah,
my
just so you can have
god.
that image. I was curious because like my username has always just been my literal nickname and then like numbers sometimes, or like some variation. So I was like, well, if I want to make content and start doing stuff, I guess like most people call me Nick anyway. I'll just leave it as Nick. And I was like, what's? And then somebody randomly was like, yo, that's Nick, my dude, like in a chat. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm taking that. It's mine.
I like it. It's a good one. I like it a lot. It's very very good actually.
Yeah. When people introduce me now, it's like, who's that? Oh, that's Nick, my dude.
I think that's like honestly, and no offense to John, I think his is a very creative name too. But like I think the best names come from just like silly little interactions like that.
Exactly. It. So I like to. I mean, John's was a little. I was like, I could ask him the origins, but if nobody doesn't know like at least what John's Titor is, they'll figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, right.
So not a lot of. I mean, like one of my friends got their username from like a pillowcase.
Mm.
So like you get you get it. Fucking Rifle got his from his air rifles at his college
Mm.
because he was on the team. He's like talked about that before. So it's always fun to get like I need to ask my buddy Nick, my other buddy Nick. He's my current DM. But his screen name is Admiral Manatee, and I need to know why. I've never asked, but that's going to be a question he gets asked. I hope he's ready.
I love that.
It's a good one, right? It's a really good screen name.
I love you get some real like IGNs are so fun to examine because some of them are really good, some of them are kind of cringy, some of them are like definitely just trying to get clicks or whatever, and some of them are just stupid with like the TTV at the end. I hate those people. I'm
Nick
sorry.
might do
I don't hate
TTV.
people, but I hate those people. Like
Oh no,
if you
the TTV thing is
just
so funny because whenever I play Halo, and we see it, or it's in their their like clan tag thing, we see TTV. We go look to see if they're live every time. God, I need some Halo games out of the grid. I've been fiending for them. I don't know. I talked about this with John, and I haven't really talked about this with anybody else on the podcast. But I'll go into trade chat sometimes and be like, "Anybody want to play Halo?" And somebody I have not played with or talked to will be like, "No, you scare me." And I'm like, "I've never played with you. Who are you?" I know you've never seen
Dude,
me play because John hasn't made a video on it yet.
I like a lot of people mention it like you are the demon of Halo though, and like everybody knows how good you are because people will be like, "Oh yeah, Nick, my dude, he's the Halo guy." Like I don't know. It's like I would expect most people probably don't want to play against Lulge in Destiny in our grid just because like he's the PvP Destiny guy, right? Like it's you get so good at these games or you do these things that like people who don't play it as much can't compete, and then they're like, ah, I don't play Halo because I'm not good at Halo. Like I'm just, and for me, it's not even that I'm going to lose. Like whatever, I don't care. Games are games. Nobody's, I was gonna say nobody is paying me to play games, but then I stream, so whatever.
I
But
mean,
like, uh,
technically,
yeah, like nobody's paying me to be good at video games. Let's put it that way.
right?
And like, so I don't care. I play games to have fun. And granted, winning is fun, but also and this is my same approach for fighting games. Like the reason I don't do the main tournament isn't because I lose in the main tournament. It's because I'm not a challenge to those people. They're so good at the game. Like getting 3-0'd, like they don't learn anything. I can't imagine it's really that fun to fight me. Like, I mean, maybe because I'm Bedman and I could do some silly things, like they might have some sort of, neuron activation and actual like thought, but like I feel like, and maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome talking, but like I feel like I'm just not good enough to even entertain those people, um, who are actually, and I don't know. For me, I also feel like it's kind of insulting to them because it's like here I am, I'm not good at the game. They put the time, they put the effort in. They're sincerely trying to be good at the game, and then there's just me. I've played like 3 hours of Stripe this week, and that's all I'm gonna play because the tournament is now canceled. So like I don't do the fighting games at the same level, and it's the same thing with Halo. It's like I don't play Halo, and so like I would either have to uh have you dumb it down to have any sort of competition, which, in my opinion, isn't going to be fun for you after a while. Maybe you'll have fun at first because you'll be doing silly things that you don't normally do. But, like, after a while, like, you want to play, I would assume, at your level, right? And so, like, part of that keeps. I also just don't own the game, but part of that keeps me
Halo
from.
Infinite is free. No. Just
I do have Halo Infinite, but like I don't know, like that's just kind of my thought process when it comes to competing in games. Like even like League of Legends I care less about because like I don't know, I honestly just view everybody else as bots in that game. I just assume I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm playing with a bunch of AI. It doesn't matter. Um, and my rank doesn't matter. Like I think I'm bronze 4 or whatever, but it's like, who cares? Again, nobody's paying me to be good at the game,
exactly. Yeah,
so
I get it.
I just enjoy it.
I just it was I because so like I play like matchmaking, like especially when I first joined, like I played a lot of matchmaking like online. I don't play online much anymore on Halo, but I played like a lot back then. And I like know where my skill level falls on the bell curve of like good players in like the general population, like roughly.
Mhm.
And so I showed up, and we started playing like the custom games, and I was like, okay, it'll probably be like, I probably I might do the best in the lobby, maybe. I was expecting more, like close, something similar skill level, but this is because when I play like matchmaking, I'm only playing against people who are like roughly my skill level, like consistently.
Hmm.
Even when I do social, because of skill based matchmaking, I'm playing like usually like really good players.
Yeah.
And when I say really good, I mean like above average. I am not a very good Halo player. I'm not a professional. I'm not even close to semi professional. Um, and so I showed up and was like 40-6 in the first game, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like, and that's like, and I'm probably the least skilled gamer of my friend group. Like, uh, I don't know. Like, I've always taken that sort of supporty role. Like, John and I, when we played older Halo games, like you would look at the heat map and every kill he got, I was nearby. Like I was the guy that popped his shield, and then John gets the kill because he's a better player and can get the better angles or whatever. And and I would take like 10 seconds to get the guy's shield down, and John would show up in like 2 seconds to get like a bullet off and get the kill or whatever because he's just better at the game than I was. Um, but when I play like team based games, and I only like team. I don't like 1v1 PvPs and stuff like that. Like I enjoy based gameplay. I like working with
Yep.
others to achieve things. Um, but like I always view it as like if I'm the worst on the team, I guarantee my team wins because I consider myself to be at the like upper edge of average in general, like in pretty much any game just because I've been gaming for like 30 years. Like my game sense is enough that I can usually be average to slightly above average. So if I'm the worst on my team, I think my team wins like 90% of the time is just kind of my viewpoint.
And then we had the Halo nights, and I went and put my finger on the scale and ruined those statistics.
Yeah, and then like, someone like you shows up and just upends everything. But
Yeah.
no, like and like those were fun times. Like it's wild and like kind of bring back my other point about being a challenge. Like playing against someone like you for John is probably really enjoyable because again, I'm not very skilled. So like playing against me doesn't do much for him, right? Like he gets to I might occasionally get a really cool play, but that's like one out of the 200 he has on me kind of a thing, right? Whereas with you, he can kind of go tit for tat, and in fighting games, it's the same kind of thing. It's like I could play against Anakim, I could play against Birdless and Twin and all and Ashen and Scud and all of them up there, right? But like, whereas I get one good play out of every 100 rounds, you know, they could go tit for tat with each other. And for me, I think that that's a more entertaining both for the viewer and for them playing it. I mean, if you watch any of the Strive tournaments, the commentators are often very quiet when the game is one sided because there's nothing to say. Like, so and so is getting his ass handed to him. Like, what do you? It
Yeah.
is what it is. Like there isn't much to say about that. It's like, oh, he pulled off the combo that he's obviously going to pull off because the other guy doesn't know how to defend against it.
That's
Um,
that's how I feel. Felt the first few times I played Halo 1 with anybody from the grid. Because I like rolled in and it was just like obliterating people, and it wasn't even like it was 2v2. It could have been 2v1. It could have been 3v1. Um, there was a game. I won't name who was in there. But actually this might be on YouTube. The score screen. So hopefully it's not. I hope I took that out of the video I made. I went the score because Halo 1 2v2s are played at 50 because they're very fast. If you played at
mhm.
25, it's over in like 4 minutes depending
Yeah.
on the map. Uh, the game ended and I had 42 of the 50,
Jeez.
and the people on the other team. He talked to me later about it, and he was like, "That was the moment I knew that like you didn't need a teammate. This was just like set dressing. Like you could have easily just obliterated us 2v1." And he was like, and that was like a little demoralizing because I realized you didn't need a teammate, and I was like, "Damn, oops,
Yeah.
my bad."
Yeah,
That's like,
and that's not to like say anything bad about people who are good at the game. Like you put in the effort, you deserve to be good at the game. I just also think that like there is sort of a stratification to gameplay, right? Like at some point, the reason like MMR exists is so that everybody enjoys the game, right? So,
The only
and
thing
I don't know, like
I will say
winning is
about
fun, but
MMR
challenge is also
to
fun.
the MMR thing, I want to interject real quick. The only reason why I don't like MMR is because I don't have to sweat to win every game.
Understandable. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that definitely
and
makes
that's
sense.
kind of where I am right now. If I play MCC, because they kind of fixed the cheater problem apparently, I have to play 4v4 Slayer. That's to 50, and if I don't have like 35, I lose, and it's super boring. It's cool for like a game and a half, and then I'm just playing a kill race against a good player on the other team who can kill our teammates faster, and it
Yeah,
gets
I don't.
boring.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and that's so like personally, if I had my druthers, like if I could get my like one wish in gaming, I've always wanted to have like a massive, just 100 people that all play the same game. Like I would like. I know everybody hates on League of Legends. It's fun to hate on League of Legends. But like if we had enough for like 20 teams of people to play League of Legends, I'd host League of Legends tournaments. I think that'd be really, really cool. I think that would be a lot more fun than playing five versus some random dudes on the internet or whatever. Or even solo queue or whatever. Like fighting games, the fact that we have this big tournament set up, I think that personally is a lot more fun than going in and just challenging tower or going to random parks and stuff. Because like it is neater when one you can kind of control the skill level, so to speak,
Yeah,
and balance it. I mean, because one thing, like the reason MMR exists is because it's an imperfect solution to a problem, right? Like you have hundreds of thousands of people that play. Well, I don't know if that's quite the population of Halo MCC at this point, but
no, it's
probably.
thousands at most
Yeah,
10.
but it's at least thousands, and it's like at some point, you know, the skill level gets to the point where like the pool is from thousands to like tens, you know.
Yeah,
And
I mean, and I know what you're trying to, but the biggest issue for the Halo, in general now is that so most skill distribution, it's a bell curve,
mhm.
and the end is really low, like it tapers off like it's supposed to. Halo's old enough, and the diehards have stayed long enough that the bell curve, it's a bell curve that's normal, gets to the very end, and then like shoots straight up for a while. There's a lot more very high skill Halo players
Yeah.
than the bell curve is supposed to like account for, and so like it messes with the MMR overall, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. I don't know. Like it is interesting. I love watching the game industry and seeing how they try to solve certain problems and stuff because there's a lot of interesting like uh situations that arise. I think that like for example, survival games were really big for a while, but I feel like they had a lot of issues too that like because those issues weren't properly solved, survival games fell off.
Yeah,
Um so I don't know. It is interesting. I love watching like games and gaming trends and stuff and then kind of trying to figure out like the psychology behind it and stuff like that. It's an interesting little pastime of mine.
let's get to my last little couple questions because we
Mhm.
are over.
Yeah.
But let's what music has gotten your attention recently?
Oh. Man, I listen to pretty much anything that isn't like I Lost My Tractor Country or opera.
Okay.
Um, but recently I've been listening to a lot of Rag and Bone Man
Yep.
does like human and stuff like that. So music kind of like that. I guess it would be called like I guess sort of like blues or work song kind of genre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like sea shanties, so it's kind of like a good transition into them. Is just kind of that sort of uh, blues or kind of gothic country. I don't like. I'm just going by what Spotify
With
calls the playlist.
yeah,
Like
gothic country is so funny.
it's like, but it's like kind of like the old western. Like the image I get is like the old cowboy in like the tavern kind of
Mm-hmm.
music, right? Like Lone Ranger kind of stuff. I've been listening to a lot of that lately, or like we all live together from Warframe kind of kicked that off. Hearing
Yeah.
that song, I was like, oh
Yep.
yeah, this one's a banger.
It's a good one.
Um, So yeah, I guess that. Otherwise, I just listen to drum and bass or EDM stuff in general.
Okay.
That's kind of my things.
Okay. Well, I know you just said that you don't like love my tractor kind of country.
Yeah.
Having lived in Texas, I have been exposed to lots of different kinds of country. I'm gonna send you a couple of songs by this guy, uh, and you can listen to them at your leisure. I just am curious to see what you think of them.
Oh, okay, cool. I
To kind
I
of
grew up, so the rest of my family loves country. So I grew up listening mostly country, like women of country though, like I don't know, I don't
what
even remember their
fuck
names.
what's his what I I mean there's a bunch of I don't know, is Reba McEntire considered women of country? Probably,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like yeah, Reba. I don't even remember the other ones. I'm gonna actually Google it.
Gwen Stefani, if you listen to that's 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 newer, I guess. Um, but yeah, I get
Barbara
what you mean.
Mandrel. I forgot about her.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you a
Carrie
couple.
Carrie Underwood was the other one I was thinking of.
Oh,
She's the one that
Gary,
like
yeah, yeah.
my family listened to a lot of. Anyways,
That's she's kind of ubiquitous though. I think when you talk about country music, people are like Carrie Underwood and Toby
yeah,
Keith and Tim McGraw. You know, just
yeah, exactly.
so I'm gonna send you this a couple songs by this artist. His name is Cody Jinks. He's a
Hmm.
country artist, and he's got a couple of good songs that I really like. So I just want to see if somebody who has listened to country and isn't like a fan of country feels about him, because I know how people who like country feel about him.
Sure.
So I listen to basically everything, as long as I can understand the lyrics, and not like language wise. I mean, like I can tell those are lyrics.
Yeah, so like
But
screamo death metal, maybe not really.
not as much my thing. If I there's some that I can listen to, like God, podcast listeners, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna talk about Sleep Token again. Um, there's a song called Vor that they have. It's really heavy. It's like very like I don't want to say scream heavy, but that that way that people sing that it's very not raspy, but like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know what I'm trying to describe. And they have that, and and it took me a little bit to start to, but like once I started to understand, I was like, I really enjoyed this like section of the song is really good. So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's what I
I'm kind
so
of the same way when it comes to like metal music like that. Illuviate is one that I listen to. They're like
mhm.
a Gaelic metal band.
Okay,
I like a lot of their stuff. Same kind of thing though. It's like I don't understand the words because it's all Gaelic. There are some English words in there, but like, um,
but yeah,
and
I
I
get it. You don't
probably
understand the other stuff. You're like,
yeah,
what?
and I probably butchered the name, but they have like the lead singer is a woman for the most part. Well, in the songs that I like, it's the woman.
Yeah.
uh,
Wow, you don't
and
like men? No, I'm kidding. Kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean the guy in his guttural kind of that screamy raspy singing is cool too, but like it's not my
Cup of
favorite
tea.
of the song. I like the contrast between the two
Right. Okay.
because hers is very melodic.
Well, viewers, you know what you're going to be listening to. If you haven't listened to Sleep Token already, I guess you have to go do that now, which I would be sorry if you haven't. As I've talked about, I think on every episode almost. I'm sorry. They're just really good. But you got Ranch's suggestions, and if anybody wants to listen to Cody Jinks, you should do that too. He is a very talented country artist. But my last couple of questions are going to be related to your content. I know you're doing a lot of streaming right now, but are you planning to do YouTube here in the future, or is that something you haven't really put much thought into yet?
So I do want to get into like video editing and putting. I mean, I could stream to YouTube. Part of my problem is my computer freezes frequently, and so I'm worried that like trying to stream to two places at once will do
Just blow it
something
up.
to it. Yeah. Um, but I do want to do like YouTube shorts and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm someone who is artistically, and musically like inclined, but not talented. So I would love to do like little animated shorts of our
Adventures.
like yeah, like the of just Adventures in general, or like the Pathfinder campaign. Like the one that I use as an example
Hmm.
is in our, I think it was the first, maybe the second episode of, no, it was the first episode of the Pathfinder I DM'd, when Thonk goes flying across the street and misses his attack on the cultist dudes. Like I want to animate that with like the different angles of like and just have like Flair's character like turn and look at the camera after Thonk goes flying across the screen. Everyone's just like, "What the heck was that?" kind of a thing. Like funny little moments like that. I would love
Yeah.
to get to animate those, but I just do not have the artistic skill. So I'm trying to get to the point where I can afford to be like, "Hey, you person who can draw things, do this for me.
Yeah.
Here's some money for it." Like
Yeah. I would
because
love to
I
be able to
don't
do that.
believe in doing things for free. Like I don't
Oh, yeah.
pay in
No.
exposure. Like
Paying exposures. There's a difference between paying exposure and your friend is like, "I'll do this for you. You don't have to pay me. Just tell people I did it." There's a little. It's different, But
yeah.
I know. I know what you're saying. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. I know that it was kind of out of the blue, and was scheduled kind of by the seat of our pants just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you got to come on. It was a good time chatting. We looking at the amount of time we have spent yapping. I think it was a successful, fun time for everybody. But if you
Yeah, thanks
have,
for having me.
oh, absolutely, enjoy having you. I think you're great guy and all that good stuff. So I would definitely in the future be when I'm planning to have people back, you would be one of them.
Yeah,
But
I'd be totally interested. If there's one thing I can do, it's talk.
yeah,
So,
I would love to get a podcast episode with you and John on it. I think that would be
oh, you could get
yeah.
some really weird stuff out of that. That'd be really neat.
I think when I finally am like, okay, cool, we're gonna have people come back. I think I want the first first episode with returning guests to be two people, and I think I want it to be you and John. I think I was gonna have that be
That would
you
be
and
lit.
him anyway, even if you had never been on, just because I think I enjoy chatting with you. So that was gonna be one of the. If you were like not really feeling it, I was like, but what if John was there? That was gonna be the second hook.
I love the idea of podcasts. I'm so glad to be here. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said, my whole dream for streaming is to have it be a just chatting. I love talking with people and especially about really anything. I love hearing other perspectives. Like I said earlier, I think you learn the most by interacting with things that are outside your wheelhouse or outside your comfort zone. So nah, I really like it. I appreciate it a lot. I'll
Yeah,
definitely be back if you'll have me.
absolutely. So again, thank you so much for coming on. Anybody who has made it this far, I hope you have a great morning, breakfast, evening, lunch, or dinner, whatever you're doing while you're listening. I hope you guys tune in for the next episode. We've got some really exciting guests coming up, and hopefully you listen to some of the music that we've been recommending. But until next time, we will see you later.